guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over a pretty entertaining article I found titled, I went on the shortest first date ever, it lasted 45 seconds, mortifying. And this article comes from the New York Post. This is about a gal, she's 32, and I guess recently she went on a first date with a guy she was talking to on a dating app. They got there, and within 45 seconds, he pretty much said, nah, not feeling it, at the end of the date walked away. And instead of just, thinking, okay, this guy's a jerk, or, licking her wounds and telling her girlfriends and all that and moving on, she has to do what so many people do nowadays, put it on TikTok. Winding and sounding off on TikTok about this. And guess what? Next thing you know, 15 million views she's gotten. It's like the saying, a politician will never let a good crisis go to waste. Well, a gal will never let an opportunity for attention and validation go to waste. And I thought it'd be an entertaining one, a good one to go over here, because how many guys out there, and I'm sure there are some guys watching this right now, that have been stood up or broken up with or whatever, something equivalent for some of the most shallow, petty, ridiculous things ever. But when it happens to a gal, got put on TikTok and complain. And I don't want anybody to get ditched out in front of the restaurant within 45 seconds. I mean, that's going to make anybody feel bad. But what's interesting is the difference is, if it was a situation was reversed, the typical gal would let the guy take her to the dinner, pay for an expensive meal, and then would ghost him and never hear from him again. So what's worst? Use the guy for the meal, or, do kind of like the Lemon Law. That show, How I Met Your Mother, Barney Stinson, the Lemon Law. You see somebody within a few minutes, you have the Lemon Law to break up with them and walk away. What's worse? In my opinion, being a guy, better to just say, not interested, and walk away. But anyhow, I've said enough. I'm going to go through this article, and I'm going to jump in here and there what I think. It says here, Maggie Smith, 32 years old, never imagined a candid TikTok video recounting her shortest dating experience ever would bring her internet fame. There you go. Internet fame. Everybody wants to have their internet fame. She met a man from a dating app outside a restaurant. She says, he gave me a hug and said, "Are you hungry? Let's go inside." So I turned in to walk, and he followed me, she said. But then he asked her to step back outside, and what he said next stunned her. He said to her, "I'm sorry, I'm just not feeling it." The interaction lasted no more than 45 seconds, leaving Maggie in a daze as she walked back to her car. Okay, that could upset anyone, guy or gal, fine, nobody likes rejection. But any amount of sympathy I have goes away once she has to put on TikTok. Another one of these idiots has to put how they feel and whine and complain on TikTok. And by the way, again, guys have been rejected for things way, 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 way worse, in worse ways. She said, the whole thing was mortifying. I just went into autopilot and said, okay, walk to my car. It was like a fight or flight mode. I just had to get out of there. Later, a friend convinced Maggie to share the story on TikTok. Why? What, to warn women that, guess what, these horrible men out there are going to, do something like this? Okay, it happens. It ain't cool, but it happens. Again, how many times has this happened to guys? Right. This is why I might add, I say meet for first date, a drink, a coffee. He could at least sit there maybe for a coffee with her or something like that. Even, it's possible. Keep it cheap, inexpensive, all that. But here's another thing. How do you know, we have to ask this question, that she didn't look at all like she did in the dating app? How do we know she didn't misrepresent herself? That's a possibility, because let's be honest here. Most guys, whether they want to admit it or not, will pretty much F anything as long as she's a certain size or under a certain size and certainly took a shower that day. You get the point. We're pigs. We all know this. Usually as long as it's dark enough and our buddies won't see who it is. So it's a possibility that she neglected to mention this part. He met her at Red Lobster, wherever the hell he met her. Took one look at her, was like, holy hippopotamus. Nah, this ain't going to work. Or he's thinking, it's going to cost me a lot of money to feed this chick tonight. Who knows? But I'm not hearing anything about that. So it had to be pretty bad for him to walk out. Anyhow, says here, later, a friend convinced her to do that, blah, blah, blah. What started as a simple Snapchat to her friend quickly resonated with thousands of people. 15.5 million views later, and while she received many messages of support, others cruelly accused her of catfishing or defended the man for leaving. Look, there's got to be a reason. Again, guys, we understand each other. if she is remotely attractive, the guy's probably going to, continue to date, unless she did not look at all like what was described. I'm sure a number of you have been on dates like that. You get there like, whoa, you think you got the girl on the app looks like a model, and you get there and she looks like fucking Sloth from Goonies. I mean, it's like, whoa, Jesus. Maggie from the Auburn area of Alabama says she hasn't given up on love, but has ditched the apps in a bid to focus on herself. Well, I saw the pictures, and, she could do some work on herself. And you know what? If this was an opportunity for her to reflect and say, maybe I could use some work on myself, okay. Silver lining there. She says here, he knew what I looked like from the app. My dating profile showed me from all angles, no filters, she says. Well, that's what she says. It could be a bunch of BS or it could be truthful. I don't know. I'm just not quite buying it. The night before, the man told her he had admired her for her personality, intelligence, and drive, and thought she was beautiful. So my weight wasn't a factor. So she says. When Maggie woke up the next morning, her phone was flooded with notifications. Overwhelmingly, the reactions that I got were positive. I didn't want to look at the comments at first because I was kind of terrified of the internet, but my friends encouraged me. I don't want to hear about you being terrified. You're the one that made the choice to record about your experience, and you wanted pity and attention. That's how it goes. You think I don't get hate on YouTube here? I've been doing this nearly 5 years. There isn't a minute of a day that doesn't go by that in one of the 3 channels I'm getting somebody hating on me. That's what you do. You put yourself out there. She says not all the comments were positive, though. Some accused her of catfishing while prompted her to post the dating profile. She says, I've always been very honest about what I look like, so I didn't catfish him at all, she said. The responses opened up a broader discussion about modern dating and the tendency to judge people too quickly. I agree on that, but how often are guys judged, right? How many guys have been kicked to the curb for some seriously petty reasons? Or how many guys have had gals go out with them, have no interest in them whatsoever, but they're like, you know what? I really want to try out that restaurant. And darn it, I just don't feel like paying for it, but that guy really likes me. I bet he'll take me to that place. Maybe I'll meet a guy out there while I'm there. Seriously. So what's worse, a guy rejects her right before they go into the restaurant? Or, the situation where somebody goes through a whole meal and they think the person likes them, they get used. We can debate back and forth on that. Dating in 2024, with the way apps are designed, makes it so easy to make a split-second decision, Maggie observes. She says, we think our time is more valuable than the other person's. And I don't think the issue is preference. It's about treating people decently even if they aren't your preference. While the viral video has garnered her attention from followers and even brands, Maggie says her daily life remains mostly the same. Well, is that what she wants? Or does she want her day-to-day life to change because of the attention she's getting? And her 15 minutes of, not even that, her 5 minutes of fame is going to be over like that. But again, yeah, that's an unfortunate thing to happen to anybody. 45 seconds in the date, nah, no thanks. Have a nice day. But any sympathy goes right out the door when you got to put on TikTok and be one of these jackasses. She says, for the most part, my life hasn't changed. I still work 2 jobs, hang out with my friends on girls' night, and go to my friends' kids' soccer games she shares. I haven't given up on dating completely, but dating apps just aren't healthy for my mental health right now. I want to continue growing into the person I want to be. Well, I can agree with her there. Dating apps are, well, you guys know. I think it's time to start talking to people in real life, But, hey, you know what? If I saw the TikTok video of her, I glanced by. I didn't actually watch it because I'm not going to give a review. But she could do some work on the body. I'll say that, and amongst other things. But I hope that she uses this opportunity to work on some things. But start talking to people in public, not in these apps. Despite the ups and downs, Maggie is grateful for the support she's received. It's been incredible to get messages from people who feel seen because they have similar stories, she says. I never expected this, but it helps people feel less alone, and that's the best outcome I could hope for. I don't think she did that to feel less alone. I think she did that for attention. Come on here. Now, the comment section, as you guys can probably imagine, is mixed. You got people that say, no, not buying it. I think she presented herself on the dating apps far better than what she looked like in real life. Or guess what? This happens to guys all the time, or all sorts of things like that. And you got the other people there, guys are jerks and blah, blah, blah. But it's always amazing to me how things like this go viral when it's the guy who's the bad guy, or men in general. But you don't hear guys doing this, you know? I mean, yes, we're in an era now that guys have been conditioned to be a big bunch of whiners. Not all, but a lot. The man bun, avocado toast eating types. But you still don't hear guys do something like this on TikTok. If a guy did this on TikTok and went viral, you know how much he'd be labeled as the biggest, P in the world? But totally okay for a girl to do this. So I know you guys are dying to hear some comments, so I'll read some of them and you guys can, tell me what you think. One says here, "Oh my God, this is the exact same thing that happened to guys on literally 80% of their dates. Only difference is the women say, 'Why, yes, I'm hungry,' and they proceed to go in and order an expensive dinner. I've had one client report a woman ordered a to-go meal as well, and then proceed to tell you this after you paid for the meal. In other words, nah, not interested, after you shelled out money. Women want to be treated the same as men. Well, this is how we are treated on dating sites. Ladies, sometimes it takes a little while to feel it, and you see if you're a match. Even with the Disney and movie idea, looking at a man and the music starts, wind flows through your hair and everything turns slow motion. That's just called lust, not love." Another one. "As a man, this has happened a number of times to me. Most of them want to get their stomachs filled with wine and food before they tell you they're not feeling it. Women do this all the time, and one hurt is because it happens to her. Boo-hoo." See? The whole comment section is full of guys like this. Another one. "If a woman just didn't feel it and walked out on a date seconds into the interaction, we would applaud her. We would talk about her acute intuition. If a woman did that to a guy, would we be talking about how embarrassed they were? I'm not even sure how to take her fight or flight comment. Did she really feel unsafe?" She didn't feel unsafe. She just felt embarrassed and humiliated. "We have a world of soft people who can't handle any adversity." From her post, "Dude made the right choice." Another one. "Hey, she's not taking into consideration that it could be her weight. Not sure how big she is. Also, the guy she matched with or had this date, was he out of her league? We don't know. I think this is what happened was not me. Rather than the guy spend his money and then have her think that he had a great night, or even take the evening further, just to scratch an itch and just ghost her would hurt even more. He was direct and honest with her. It hurts, I'm sure, but she'll get over it. This thing is, men go through so much worse. It's pretty much a guy's life in the dating scene." Exactly. Another one. "This is several months old. I've seen it several times. Her attempting to shame him is reprehensible. However, let's review this a bit. I've been rejected because of my height. Something I cannot change. I never bothered to blast on the internet for sympathy." Exactly. That's the big difference between guys and gals. Now, not all gals are going to do this, but you get my point. "She was rejected because she is heavier than expected." He was okay that she was heavy, but he reviewed the situation and decided he couldn't do it, and she was much bigger than she said. That's what I'm thinking. "Ending the date was much better than giving her false hope. However, I might have at least been honest about my thoughts and still offered to pay for dinner, unless it was different and she was lying. In the end, at least she has the option to try to reduce her size. I have no chance of increasing my 5'9" height to the desired 6 feet tall. That kind of thing is what is making men quit on this stuff." So there you go, guys. Again, nothing groundbreaking or crazy. It's not this an entertaining one, and a huge difference between the guys and the gals. Again, guys aren't going to sound off on the internet for attention, but this one you do. So if there's anything to come out of this, first dates, keep it cheap. A quick coffee, a quick drink, whatever it is, not a full-on dinner, something like that. And for goodness sake, people, represent yourself accurately on the dating apps. Because if somebody sees you and you're completely misrepresenting yourself, I can't blame them for saying, nope, not interested. I mean, really. And it goes both ways. Same thing with guys here, And for goodness sake, if somebody does something, don't put on the internet, whine and cry about it. I mean, come on, you look ridiculous. And that's that. And again, how many times have guys been rejected for things far more petty, far more superficial? You get the point. But anyhow, there you go. Stick to the old-fashioned meeting people in person instead of the stupid dating apps. But anyhow, wow, it's a loud motorcycle going by. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let's hear, guys. Have you been ditched on a date, something like that, within a few seconds? Or did they, make sure you paid for the dinner? or something equivalent, let's hear about in the comment section. And do you think the guy was a big jerk, or do you think that she may be exaggerating a wee bit, leaving some things out for his reason for walking away? I'm sure you like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.